Welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad to have you here today for the second day of the 5-day challenge to kickstart some healthy habits. So yesterday we talked about just kind of really discovering where you're at in one particular area of your life. And so now that you kind of know where everything is sitting and kind of the reality of what's happening around you, we're going to talk about creating some kind of like sacred space, some guarded and protected area for you to take action in that area of your life, moving towards some of your goals, right? And one of the ways that I teach in my coaching is that there are boundaries, right? We all know about boundaries and saying yes and saying no, and things that are non-negotiables for you. But a lot of times I have heard over and over, myself included, say, well, I don't have time for that, or I can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. And so it's really important for us to understand the power of our yes and the power of our no. And for every yes we give, we have to give out at least one no. And what I found for myself is when I was working too much, I was saying yes to seeing clients, later than I wanted to. I was saying yes to seeing clients on the weekends. And when I did that, I was automatically saying no to extra time with my son and my family. And I was saying no to being home to make dinner for him, even though I said it was a priority and it was important to me to have that special time with him. And, being a mom, like I love making dinner for my family. And I wanted that to be something where we sit down at the table and we have that tradition and that time together to really connect at the end of the day. And so it took me a while. I had to have someone point it out to me, my coach, in fact. She was like, don't you see, don't you get it, that every time you say yes to one of these work opportunities, even though it may be important and it's vital and you need the money and all of those kinds of things, you're saying no to something that is even more important to you. And so when we look at things, like the area of our life that we're looking at, I had said that my area that I'm looking at and working on for this next 5-day challenge and, for the next 3 months is that I'm working on physical exercise. Yes, I get some, but I'm not doing all of the things that I would like to be doing for my health and all of the great benefits that it has, right? And so I keep using these, well, I don't have time. Again, if I don't have time for it, that's it might be valid, but I might need to reprioritize. So if I have boundaries, I think about those as like creating sacred little containers, right? I have boundaries around my work schedule. I have boundaries around my family, and I have boundaries around my food. And then I have some boundaries around, I need to create boundaries for my exercise so that I actually do it, so some examples might be like, I don't work on the weekends anymore, right? So that's a work boundary. I have set schedule that I honor and my clients respect that. And then what that does for me is then that gives me time to protect the time with my family. I don't answer emails. I don't do work phone calls. Like I'm just 100% with my family because I have that container set up for work and family. And that's kind of how it is. I have boundaries around my food, right? I kind of go with like an 80-20. 80% of the time I'm eating good, we're pretty clean eating and that sort of thing. But then there's that 20% of flux that I give myself and the family so that we go out, we eat ice cream. We have some French fries. We go to birthday parties and have cake and whatever, right? And enjoy some of those those things that we don't eat the 80% of the time. And that works for us. That keeps my digestion good, that keeps the energy good, that helps for our kids so that they don't have emotional ups and downs and crashes and things like that, if like when we go ahead and if we do more than the 20% and that gets out of whack, right? So the boundaries are set up in order to protect what you hold dear, to protect what is important. So taking this little piece of creating some sacred boundaries and some sacred barriers and containers for your area that you want to work in and work with over the next couple of days is really to start looking at what are you saying yes to, and what does that mean as far as what you're saying no to within that one category, right? So if I say, yes to, gosh, this is a hard one for me, right? Because again, that story is so deeply ingrained of, I don't have time. I can't take more time away from the kids or the family, or it's summer. What am I supposed to do? We have activities planned and all these things. So, if I buy into that, I'm saying no to getting my goal or moving towards my goal of this, walk, run, interval thing that I want to be doing so that I could get to like running for 20 minutes. My heart needs that. My lungs need it. Energy wise, I need it. It'd be great for me. My dog would love it because then she would get more exercise. She loves walking, but she's ready for some running. So I have to get over that. And so I just have to be really diligent about, again, for me, the biggest thing is a boundary around that time. I do have time, right? For me, I need to change my wording to I do have time. I already take that 20 minutes to walk twice a day, or sometimes 3 times a day. But one of those times, I need to do the interval, the walk, run. I just need to try it, right? And so that's kind of where I'm at with that. This for me is a really big struggle. So I'm looking forward to getting some support. maybe exercise for you is something that has been an issue as well. It takes a bit of a push, a bit of like conviction, and I'm just going to do it kind of attitude. And I have that in so many areas. So for some reason, I am dragging my feet and digging my heels in about this one. I am going to start working on that and creating a boundary for that particular mindset, right? But you might be working on, maybe around like food, right? Like maybe you need some boundaries around, okay, well, if I'm trying to eat clean and you set a ratio for yourself, maybe it's 50-50, maybe it's 80-20, whatever, maybe you're 90-10. That's kind of your choice, right? But maybe what that means is when you go to the grocery store, you have a boundary that you don't even go down the chip aisle, right? Like if you're just starting out, that could be a boundary. That could be a way of something that you were saying no to, right? You're saying no to the chip aisle so that you can say yes to staying within your, your clean eating ratio that you're choosing. So that's just one example, right? And maybe, it could be a variety of different things. You might have chosen like spirituality, right? Like, so if that was the case, creating a boundary around that where you're going to dedicate a set amount of time, maybe it's 10 minutes, where you're going to meditate, you're going to pray, you're going to read, you're going to journal, you're going to do something that's nurturing your soul. And so what you're going to do is you're going to set that time aside, whether it be the morning or the night, whatever works for you. But you need to say yes to that and no to any other thing that's going to pop up, right? Like no TV show, no to the needing to make that phone call. Like all of those things can wait and stay outside of that designated sacred time, because that boundary is in place for you to hold space to do the work that you want to do there and developing your spirituality. So boundaries are really tricky. sometimes it's easier said than done, right? I'm living proof of that. I want to be doing the running piece and I resist it still. And so that's where a supportive group really helps. It helps to verbalize to other people what your boundaries are so that you can express them, other people can hear them and honor them and help you honor them as well. There were plenty of times when I was starting to set my work schedule hours and things, and I had a hard time holding that space of no evenings or no weekends. I really wanted to say yes, and I said yes a couple times, and then I had other people speak into my life and say, hey, I thought you had a boundary with that. Why are you stepping over your boundaries? Don't you realize that's costing you? And so, you know, and they all did it in a very loving way, which is, I think, what we need. And that's why we turn to others for support. But they helped course correct and help me get back on track and continue to follow through with what is important. So having said all of that, I would love for you to just think of, you know, maybe 3 boundaries that you currently do not have in place, but that you could put in place. 3 things that would help you create that container to protect your goal. You know, it's your set intention of where you want to go for the next 5 days, or maybe it's a bigger, longer project, kind of like mine, and this is just the first stepping stone to get moving. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please email me or post it in the Facebook group. And I look forward to seeing what you're all working on and how you're setting up your sacred containers. So have a wonderful day, and I will talk to y'all soon. Okay, take care.